Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube where I talk about books that I'm writing, books that I'm reading, mostly books that I'm writing. Started this vlog to kind of pull back the curtain on what it's like to be an author, what I do in my spare time, how I write books, just everything that goes on behind the curtain that you might not know when you are holding that finished product in your hands. That is the book. And I am B.B. Morgan, Beatrice B. Morgan. I write fantasy, romantic fantasy specifically. I write a little bit of dark fantasy, not like dark fantasy, not anything like that, but a little bit, just a smidge. I also have dabbled in Gaslamp Fantasy, and I'm currently dabbling in horror, although it's very slow going and it's not coming as easily as fantasy does. So that book might never come out. It might too, I don't know. It's just, I have to be in the mood for it. Anyway, writing update. I finished book 4. I have finished my draft of book 4 of this high fantasy series that was a quartet for a very long time. I fought the idea of it being book 5. I fought the idea of book 5. There we go. That get my words out. It is now a 5-book series. I outlined book 5. I realized book 5 had a lot of potential, and so there is now a book 5. I have outlined book 5. I have revised the outline of book 5 so that I know the story beats of book 5. I feel good about book 5 where I'm sitting right now. See, if I keep saying book 5, it will sound like a good idea. It still sounds like, oh no, what have I done? Because I just wanted the series to be done, but then I realized it's not done. There's still more. I'm rushing the ending of book 4, so now the ending of book 4 is now the ending of book 5. Because other things had to happen to really make that ending feel earned. But I talked about that in a different vlog, I believe, unless I talked about it on my way home from work one day. I do that. I will talk to myself in my car if there's something that I need to think about, I need to work through. I will drive to work in silence and talk to myself about whatever this is, whether it's like a personal issue or work related or most likely a book plot, something that I need to figure out because it doesn't feel right. I have not done much writing this week because I finished book 4 this past weekend. But I said, I knew I was going to finish book 4. I knew I didn't have that much more to go. I just had to iron out the last few chapters. And I know I will do another revision on it before my editor ever lays eyes on it. She has the first 3 books in her hands. And I've told her there's no rush because book 5's not done and there's no telling when book 5 will be done. Typically, I have a high turnaround. Once I have the outline, the whatever comes after the outline, hold on, time out. Rough draft. The rough draft generally comes relatively quickly. And if I have all of the elements that I need, my first draft it's been a long day, it's been a long week, it's a full moon kind of a week, okay, just bear with me, bear with the typos that come out of my mouth, the verbal typos. But once I have all of the elements that I need within a first draft, then it's smooth sailing pretty much from there, with me just trying to figure out little things with the plot. And I did a little bit on book 5 this weekend after I'd finished book 4. And by a little bit, I mean I wrote the first chapter, which has a lot of info dumping in it, which is more so just me reminding myself of what has happened and the state of mind that the protagonist needs to be in at this point in time, and who all the other characters are that are with her at this time. Typically what I do is when I write first chapters in a rough draft or even an outline, I will 100% info dump. I will throw all the things in there that I need to know or be aware of, and then as I revise and as I draft, more and more gets taken out of that first chapter. It's just, I don't know what I need yet, so this is just all in here as a placeholder to remind me of all the things that I need to remember when I come back to that draft. And I will do that as I rough draft too. I will over-explain things, not necessarily because that's going to be in the final draft, but it's more so that me, the author, understands what's happening. Or if it's a political system that I'm trying to explore, or a magic system, or whatever, I will over explain things. I will give a lot of backstory and a lot of history, a lot of world building, just so I know what's going on. So I know all these pieces of the world that exist. And then as I go back and revise, I take out what isn't needed necessarily for the scene to make sense. And then I wrote chapter 2. And chapter 2 felt a little So that's when I kind of, okay, I need to take a break. I need to take a break from writing. And it was the next day, I think, I had an idea how to make chapter 2 better because it was a little flat. I like something else needs to happen here in the beginning to kind of kickstart the kind of the inciting incident. Something needs to kind of kickstart the fire that is book 5 because this is the last book of the series. All of the strings are coming back together, but then I rewrote chapter 2 and I feel pretty good about it. And it's weird moving from like a later draft that book 4 was in and knowing the story and knowing what needed to happen and moving into completely unknown waters as far as writing is concerned. Like it's not completely unknown. Like I know like the characters and the world and stuff and all that, but I don't have anything written. I'm not going back over something that I've already written to see if it works. I am completely creating these words anew, and that it takes a different mindset, and I have to be prepared to be in that mindset. And I was not in that mindset after finishing book 4. I have not written this week, hardly at all. I have opened the manuscript, I think 3 or 4 times, and I have not done anything, and I've closed it when I go to bed because I think I just need that palate cleanser. I need that rush where I just read like a bunch of books to like suck in all the inspiration I can so that when it comes time to like move into that rough draft, I'm ready. I'm not ready right now. So I'm taking my break. But there is one thing that I wanted to talk about that I've been thinking about this week, and I've seen it on social media here and there. And again, I don't know if it's just because it's something that is being talked about more, or if it's something that I looked at one post about this one thing, and then the algorithm is like, oh, you like this one thing? Here is all of it. But it's about criticism, specifically criticism as an author, criticism on books. And it also kind of ties in with Taylor Swift's acceptance speech for the whatever thing she did. I saw somebody else talking about it. What I've been thinking about recently is when do we ignore criticism and when do we take criticism? Because there's a lot of criticism. Everyone and their sister thinks they are capable, and there was a word I wanted and I don't remember what that word was. Anyway, everyone and their sister thinks they are capable of giving you constructive criticism. And no, they're not. I don't think people understand what constructive criticism means, what criticism means in general. Like, just because you read a lot of books does not mean you are qualified. That is a word that I couldn't think of earlier. Doesn't mean you are qualified to give constructive criticism. Because there is so much more that goes into like how a book works. And when you're just a reader, you can kind of have a feel when something doesn't work right, or if you don't like a trope or just how something was unfolded, or if something feels unfulfilled. But constructive criticism, qualified criticism, is by someone who understands how all the things of a novel work together and can point out exactly what went wrong and explain it to you in a way that makes sense. Your Goodreads review is not constructive criticism. And no author should be looking in Goodreads reviews for criticism or feedback. That is not a space for authors. It wasn't designed for authors. It was designed for readers to leave reviews for other readers. I am absolutely on the train of authors should stay out of the reviews. Don't look at them. Don't read them. Just don't. It's not for you. You can look at your star rating. Do not scroll down on your Goodreads page. Just don't do it. Don't do it. You don't need it. And I say that, and I know a lot of authors probably do, and then they get mad because they see something that a reader didn't like their book because the main character was stupid or something. I'm like, your book's not going to be for everyone. But anyway, it's knowing when to take criticism and when to ignore criticism. In the speech that she did, there was something about, I don't remember the exact wording now, how don't take all the criticism you get because it will destroy you. And I took all that and I've been thinking about all like the feedback that I was given on like my very first books, the books that I self-published, and even some of the fan fiction that I did, and how 90% of the feedback I got was absolutely useless. Useless. And like a reader calling my work stupid or childish, that is not helpful to me at all, so I'm going to ignore it. I had another thought that I was gonna get into, and now I don't remember what it was. Again, it's been a very long week. I was talking about criticism and ignoring criticism that is useless to you. My train of thought just went absolutely off the rails, crashed, and just went into like the ocean. It's gone forever. We're never getting it back. Like Captain Morgan's treasure, it's gone. I was gonna start making scripts for these, or at least have like sticky notes with like my bullet points of the things that I wanted to hit and what things I wanted to talk about. I think I did that once. No, I'll just wing it, I said. Oh, I think I know what it was. I think I found it. It was trudged up from the bottom of the ocean. Ignoring the criticism and writing books because you enjoy it. You love the creation of a book, the development of a story, just making the story and putting yourself into it. And that kind of ties in with the idea of you need to be in this line of business, you need to be in this line of art, I guess, because you love it. You shouldn't be here if all you want to do is make money. No, go play on AI or something. Stay out of the art space. But you need to be here. You need to write books because you love to write books. You love stories. You love characters. You love doing the act of creating a book and like all that goes into it and all the moving parts. So you have to like figure out how they fit together perfectly to make this like fantastic and great story the best it can be. And there will always be people that hate everything that you write. It doesn't matter. There will always be people that hate you specifically for absolutely no reason. It could be your main character's first name is the name of their ex, or just a name that they hate. You know, your writing style could just annoy a lot of people. You might write about a trope that they really hate. It doesn't matter. And it's not something that you need to concern yourself with. You need to just let it go. And especially when you're doing like your first book, your first couple books, and you just haven't quite gotten that tough skin yet of people being mean to you on the internet and putting your soul out there and like just letting like the mean words bounce off you. No, they hurt. Because I can remember getting a very mean, hateful review on one of my very first books that I'd published, and it was one of the very first reviews of this book. Also, and it was one of those essays that someone had written about how horrible this book was, and how horrible my writing was, and it was so mean. And I'm pretty sure this person also found me on like Twitter and like stalked me for a little bit, and it was weird and it was creepy, just weirdo behavior, like those people that leave these hateful reviews for entertainment. That's what they do, and those trolls exist, and the just all you can do is just block them and just pretend they don't exist. We all know they do. And any other reader who comes into those reviews and sees those essays, they know what those people are too. We can all pick out the stupid reviews that are like, oh, that person did not understand what book they were getting into. And it's best, and I know it's really hard to do, and it's especially if you're like just getting into the space and you're just kind of figuring out how you are as a writer and your writing process and how you fit into the overall writing community. Like, I can sit here and tell you that you have to have a tough skin and to not let mean reviews bother you. I can say that until I am out of breath and it won't matter. And it's one of those things that I heard over and over and over again, and it just didn't sink in until it had to sink in. Until I either had to get the tough skin or admit defeat and then never write anything ever again. And clearly, I, grew the tough skin and kept on writing because I like to write. If I don't write, I will probably explode. I need to write. This is like the outlet that works best for me for my creativity. This is the skill that I have put all of my eggs in. This is what I want to do. And I will pursue it regardless of how many people tell me I'm terrible at it. Well, then I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm just going to get better at it. And you just can't let the naysayers and the negative Neds and Nancys get to you. Like, you have to just keep going because you enjoy it, because you want to. For the love of the craft, I guess. And then it's kind of took a turn. I did not anticipate speaking for this long on the subject. I know I'm probably not going to get much writing done this weekend because it's Easter, and there's things to clean and food to make and family to be forced to be spending time with. It's fine. It's fine. Made the rule for myself I wouldn't write on holidays because I would absolutely like sneak out early and like go sit in a corner and write. I would absolutely would. But I'm not rushing book 5. Like, it's gonna get done when it gets done. Because the rough draft stage for me is either the easiest part of a book or it is the hardest part of the book process. I don't understand why some books are easier to write in the rough draft form and some are just the pain, and it's like squeezing apple juice from a lemon. Like, I've had books that the rough draft just started from a single scene and just snowballed, and I've had others that I just struggle with. I've noticed in my elder years here of being an author that rough drafts come a lot easier to me than they used to. I can outline a lot easier because I know the story beats. I have a better handle on like the big story beats and how they tie into the overall theme and how to like tie themes back and how if this happens in the beginning, then it needs to come back in Act 3, the Chekhov's gun thing. And I just have a better grasp of story structure. And that's not something that I learned in like a class or by reading a book. I learned it by writing and I learned it by reading. By writing a lot, by writing story after story after story, and by reading and looking at those stories that I was reading and seeing how they developed and seeing how they set up their story beats and how the midpoint came about and how it wrapped things up and how the story overlaps and ties things back to the beginning and how some books have that really rich feeling of like fulfillment at the end where you close it and you're just like, that was a good story. Like, it feels complete versus the other books you read and you're like, did I miss something? Is there like a book 2? You know what I mean? So I'm hoping to maybe get a little bit of book 5 done, and if not, I also want to jump back into my contemporary romantic horror that I've been working on. I wanted to kind of rework the ending a little bit. I made some changes. I don't know what percentage I am through that book, maybe because I know I have to like redo the ending entirely because it's like very roughly outlined because I changed the whole thing. Changed the ending to that one too. I should have really outlined. I didn't outline on that one. I just kind of ran with the first draft. I think that's what my downfall was because I've changed things in it considerably. But that is my update for this week. This is my writing update. Thank you for hanging out with me for this brief period of time. Thank you for spending your time with me. I know there's a lot of fantastic people you could be spending this time with. Stay tuned to see what happens with book 5, what happens with that contemporary romantic horror. Hopefully, one day I'll get on here and be like, it's done! Anyway, thank you for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. Go find a new book. My hair is extra poofy today. I blame the humidity.